Hi, I'm Dr. Sapphire, a medical doctor who doubles as an email marketing expert. In here, I take you behind the scenes of failed and successful email marketing campaigns. You get to see what these amazing individuals have tried that worked and didn't work in email marketing. If you've been curious and like me, you want to know what other people out there are really doing in email marketing, then join me as I go behind the scenes.
Hello, listeners. Welcome back to Email Marketing Experiments. Today, I have the amazing Breanna Owen, founder of Owen Your Mark and the creator of Email Energetics. Now, I must tell you that she's about to tell us about something very exciting. Our conversation today is something that is really dear to my heart. The 5 email sequences every business needs and why the post-purchase sequence comes first. So now you already know one of them, but there are 4 more you need to know. Welcome, Breanna. It's so good to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited for our conversation today.
Me too. Now, Breanna has such a rich and exciting journey. Like, I find it interesting. She studied, I think, fashion, right, Breanna?
Yeah.
And then she transitioned into email marketing and she has 15 years in sales. So she has been doing this for a really long time. And there's something she said that really struck me. She says, anytime she has the opportunity to make email easier, more personal and more effective for business owners, she's all in. And that's something that is in line with our mission and everything that we do. So I'm really looking forward to today's conversation. So Breanna, let's look at this. I mean, you're doing strategy, email strategy, copywriting. You are also creating human design aligned email strategies, emails that feel good. You know, they're simple to implement and give results in people's businesses. And of course, feed your kids, because that's important. A lot of people want to be able to do things that help them achieve their personal goals and aspirations. But you have a degree in fashion. You've worked at Banana Republic. And I'm like, how did we go from there to here?
Right? Isn't that is also a question I ask sometimes. Well, to give you the backstory, and it'll even encompass the 15 years of sales experience that I have. I had a direct sales business when my oldest son was a newborn. And by the time he was, I think, probably 6, I had 3 kids at this point. And I had been a stay-at-home mom with that side business for so long. I was craving something more for me. And I had the fashion business. I had the jewelry styling side of things. And I was like, let's just go pursue more fashion. I love this. I love styling people. I had experience of that side of my business, just the impact of getting a room of women together, one, for the community of it all, like as women, just being able to be in community with other people, no matter jewelry was just the excuse, but we'll take it. We'll have fun with that, right? But I noticed that something would happen as I would play with the jewelry with these women. And depending on, and I would ask them questions of like, what do you do every day? What's your style? What's this? What's that? To help them find the jewelry that would make them feel good. And to see them literally like put on jewelry and then look in the mirror and they would stand taller and they would shine brighter and their eyes would get bigger and they would smile more. Further cemented the fact that this was not jewelry. This was helping women show up more confidently and helping them feel more excited and just the way that they would be in life. Because if we had that in the world, the whole world would change. And so it really wasn't even about the fashion or the jewelry. It was more about like, how can we help people, women in particular, be the fullest version of who they were made to be. And that was the thing I was really excited about. So I went to school for fashion thinking, let's just do more with this. Let's do more with this styling stuff. And along the way, because of where I went to school, marketing and fashion were part of the same, like under the same umbrella of school. And I had several marketing classes that I needed to take for fashion. And one of the professors who accurately pegged me as this high achieving millennial was like, you only need like 3 more classes and you can double major in marketing and fashion. Done. I'm in. Let's go. And so, right? Yeah. So I had now I had my marketing degree and my fashion degree, and you had to have an internship. Whatever degree you were graduating with, you needed to have an internship for it. So I did I don't even think it was Breanna. I think I did my jewelry business as my fashion degree internship. And then it was like getting down to the wire and I didn't have a marketing internship yet. And I was like, I can't graduate if I don't have this marketing internship. And so I'd been part of some other networking groups and I just started calling people and I eventually called a friend and her husband helped us buy our house. He was our mortgage lender for our house. And I was like, I know he could use marketing for the summer. Please convince him to hire me. I just need a summer internship. Well, as it happens, that summer internship lasted about 8 years. So, and it's through that I just ended up staying in the marketing lane. And it really came down to logistics. So we ended up having a fourth baby. And so I had mom of 4 kids and the retail working hours were just not my favorite for how I wanted to live the rest of my life outside of my career. In the marketing lane, let me stay at home. Like I work from home. I'm able to be there for just about everything for my kids. Even so far this year, we've had a call at 9:15 that somebody needed to go get stitches. People leave their stuff at home all the time. So it's just been, that is how I've ended up in the marketing lane versus the fashion lane.
Wow. Wow. I think that what I love best in this story is how you just said, I know he needs marketing, convince him to hire me. And that turned into 8 years of a rich work relationship. Because sometimes people are afraid to put themselves out there. They're afraid to go for that thing. And it just really resonated. And then being able to live the life that you want to live, bring up your family the way you desire. I think that's gold. And wow, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing. So I'm just thinking, we have fashion, we have marketing. Do you still think that maybe you might do some things fashion related down the line?
I don't know. Yeah, I feel really good and comfortable with the marketing lane. What I've realized is that the thing that I love so much about styling, of helping people feel the best versions of themselves, it was very little about the clothes or the jewelry or the shoes. It was like, how do we make you feel good about you? I essentially do that, but instead of jewelry, I use words and it's emails and for people's business. So the theory, the mission, the purpose is still there. The modality and the vehicle is now very different. But there are so many times when I'm doing my marketing work, I think about, well, what would this sales experience be like in person? What would this process be like if this were a brick and mortar business or a brick and mortar interaction versus a digital interaction? And so it's still there. It just look different. But my son in particular, my oldest son in particular, likes to tell me I have no fashion sense, which is hilarious because I literally have a degree hanging on my wall that says otherwise. But my kids would like me to stay out of fashion at this point.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. No problem. Whatever the kids say, whatever they say. Now, this just brings me to my next question. So you said you asked yourself, how does this play out if it was in person? And there was something you said that the background still shapes how you see things, that you tend to think about online businesses the way you used to think about brick and mortar storefronts. So just for context, could you just share with our audience, when you say brick and mortar storefronts, like what kind of businesses are you referring to? And then maybe an example of how you think about it. So you've given us one actually. You said, how would this experience be in person?
Yeah, for sure. So brick and mortar, I just mean any sort of literal business. So when I worked at Banana Republic and we had a store in the mall, that people would literally physically walk into the store. It could be a physical store in on a main street or something like that. In my jewelry days, I would set up vendor booths, and I also ran a nonprofit with a physical based product as well. And we would send up vendor booths. And I would still consider that something to be like a brick and mortar, even though it's like folding table and tablecloths, but simply because it's an in-person selling experience. That is what I'm thinking of when I say brick and mortar. And then, for example, if we go back to the mortgage lender, and that's really where the marketing stuff got cemented, but also the email marketing really became the thing I'm obsessed with and love in digital marketing, because I would watch him like finger type out emails to his customers. He was incredibly customer centric. Like, he really truly cared about connecting with his people, but he hated to type. He hated to write emails. So he would like get a quick little email out, and then he'd go reward himself with a handful of peanut M&Ms, which I love. I'm here for that. But I also knew how many customers he had and how many emails he wanted to be able to send a day. And that just was not sustainable. And so what I did with him was, and how all of this really got started was, I just sat down with him and I asked him, if this customer, who is it that you're trying to talk to? Where are they at in their journey of buying a mortgage? If they were sitting right here with us, what would you be saying to them? Okay, after that part happens, what comes next? And what would you say to them if they were right here? Don't think about needing to send an email. Think about if they were walking into your store, what's the first thing you would say to them? Okay, after you find out a little bit more about what they're interested in, what brings them in, what they're looking for, then what would you say? What options would you give them? And then from there, what would you do? What's the thing you're really trying to drive them towards? In my fashion retail background, it would often be a dressing room. I want them trying on the clothes, right? And I want them to see how different things might fit them, or things might be able to work together. If you see how versatile this top is. And so it's that cost per wear, right? This is the original girl math, was cost per wear of, oh, but if you see, you could wear this jacket with like 4 different pairs of pants. It's really like a quarter of the cost. So I think we can justify it here, right? And so with the business owner, whether it's my mortgage lender or somebody else, I'm like, what's the ultimate thing you're trying to get them to do? With my mortgage lender, it was often give them a call. If he could get them on the phone, he was so good. And so you were really just thinking about, if you are in person with your, like literally face to face with the person that you're talking to, what would you say to them? What would you want to know? Where would you guide them towards next? What's the ultimate thing you want to point them towards? And then we just reverse engineer that for email.
Oh, wow. I really love the flow of that, because it just makes it so much easier. Like,
Yeah.
what do you want to achieve? What do you want the person to do? Now, if the person was here, what would you say? Like, it makes it super easy. And so if someone is struggling with email, they begin to see it differently,
Yep.
because it's like, oh, it's just like my in-person conversation, just that now I have to write it.
Yep.
Wow, that's so
Yes.
powerful. That's so
Yes.
powerful.
Yes.
And so he was able to send multiple emails, and instead of, having to struggle and send that short line. Wow,
Yeah.
that's
Over
great.
time. So, I mean, again, I worked with this guy for like 8 years. I'm going to tell you how many email sequences I put together for him. But I need the listeners all to understand that these happened over, and you can fill them like one at a time, right? But
Yeah.
for 3 or 4 years, we had 20 different sequences set up, which is
Wow.
just really powerful. And it's also really important to understand that at most, this mortgage lending team had 3 people on the team at most. We are small town, Iowa, not small town, we're in central Iowa. This is not like this huge corporate organization. Okay. These are real people. And I can't remember which year it was, but I know one year I was tracking all of the data. And in one year, his team had sent 13,000 emails to their customers without ever needing to hit send.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Right. And we're talking about like they would work with, 100 to 150 people a year.
Oh, wow.
So that's how powerful this can be. Like, think if we as business owners, if we think of all of the emails we meant to send, all of the follow up, all of the reach out, all of the, right? Versus what actually gets sent, it's a lot less sent. I know this because I am also this, but We are probably closer to if I sent out every email I intended to send, it'd probably be closer to that 13,000, right? Maybe not actually that much, but probably 10x the number of emails we actually send.
Yeah. Wow. So now you set up, all these sequences, 20 of them, but there are 5 that you have seen that every business needs, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
before you go into, we have this tradition here where you get to do a confession for us. I want to take that first before we break down these 5 email sequences. And very simply, we like to hear what your biggest email marketing mistake is, the one that made you, think 2 times about your choice of career. Or, for some people, they did cry. And for some other people, they needed to disappear for a while. So what has been your biggest or your worst email marketing mistake?
Yeah, mine is probably that I don't have a lot of these systems set up for myself and that it's taken me so long. Like within that, so I told you earlier, I've been doing email marketing now for about 9 years. We might be at like 2 or 3 years ago did I set up my own email list.
I think it happens to a lot of service providers. Like the thing you do for other people.
Yep.
It seems so hard to do it for yourself.
Yep.
And I can totally relate to this thing because I was telling someone that I need to rebuild my email system because, I get on a strategy call, you advise you need this, you need that. But looking at mine, I'm like, this is way less than bare minimum.
Yep.
But why do we always find ourselves in that situation though? I don't know.
Because we're so good. We are so good at helping other people. And then that's why we need each other, right? I think we've said this before, like all of us business owners just need to get on a group co-working call where we just do the thing for each other. I'm like, you handle this for me, I'll handle that for you.
And everything will be done so much faster.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So that's my confession is I am really good at doing this for other people and not great at doing it for myself.
I can imagine. So let's look at the 5 email sequences. So what are the 5 email sequences every business needs?
I would actually jump to the 5th one. I would say that the one that every business needs the most will be the email sequence that comes after someone has worked with you. So I call it the post-purchase email sequence, but it could be like your post-service email sequence if you do more, right? I'm a service provider, but after someone has worked with you, those emails I think are the most important to send.
Okay, so after someone has worked with you or after somebody has bought something from you. So why is this one the most important to send?
That's such a great question because you would think it would be backwards of like, oh, they've worked with you. You've already done the thing. Why this? But the data shows that clients are 60 to 70% likely to hire you again.
Okay.
When you compare that to like a new lead, just the timing and the cost, and I think the data is like 13 to 20%. A new lead is 13 to 20% likely to hire you. If I had to choose of a 60 to 70% likelihood, which we can put it at 50%, right? If I had a 50% likelihood somebody would buy with me or a 13 to 20% likelihood that somebody would buy with me. As a busy mom who does not have a lot of time, I want to put my effort and energy where I'm going to have a higher opportunity of return.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. So if you think about it too, one way to think about this in terms of your business is if we go back to that 50%, if last year's clients or this year's clients, if 50% of them were to work with you again, to rehire you, to rebook you, to do the second step of your process, whatever, how would that impact your business?
That's such a good question. A lot.
Yeah. Because you've already worked with these people. They know you. They know what it's like to work with you. You don't have to manage expectations. You don't have to get them up to par on who you are and what your process is and what to expect from you or what to expect from the outcome, right? Like it's like going to brunch with an existing friend, you just dive right into things versus if you go to brunch with a new friend, you've got to like, okay, so tell me a little bit more about you and what about this and what about that? You know, again,
Yeah.
same with our clients.
That's so good. That's so good. Now, before we really look into this post-purchase, so what are the other four?
Yeah.
I feel like
And
welcome sequence is one of them.
well, and a lot of this came from, I know we said with the mortgage lender, he had 20 different sequences, but that's because we got really nuanced. Like how I got to these big picture 5 is like, what sequences did we do over here with the mortgage lender and where do they get consistent and more general that apply to all businesses? And one of them is definitely the welcome sequence. I think this is probably the sequence most people are familiar with, as well as most marketers have heard of and are familiar with. You have somebody downloads a lead gen from you, they fill out a form, something. The emails that come immediately after that would be like your welcome sequence or your initial nurture sequence, right? That's one.
Yeah.
We have a follow-up sequence. Somebody has a call with you. You meet someone in person. I love having a follow-up sequence for in-person meetings too. But how often do we say, I'm going to reach out to you. I will follow up with you. So, I mean, I know we've heard that the fortune is in the follow-up, but I like to add that the freak out is also in the follow-up. There is. How often as business owners do we talk ourselves out of following up with someone? I don't want to bother them. I don't want to be a nag. I don't know what to say. Right? So like, let's automate or automate-ish that.
I say, so it just happens. Like you're not thinking about it. The follow-up is just happening. So they don't have to say, oh, I don't want to disturb the person. It's just happening in the background.
Yes. Yeah. I also have some clients who don't want that to run entirely automated. So we get about 80% of it done as a template for them. And then it gets saved to their drafts. Instead of sending, it gets saved to their draft. And then they can add in some extra personal touches if they want. But again, it's 80% done. They're not staring at a blank doc. And it's not just like weighing on them mentally. Oh, I need to follow up with so-and-so.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. So our third one would be an onboarding sequence. This is especially great. Again, for my mortgage lender, it was really awesome because when people start to work with him versus when they are done with the mortgage process can be weeks, months. It can be a long time, right? So this is especially great for people who have a longer process, a longer project timeline. If you have a course and people are enrolling to a course, this onboarding sequence can be really good for something like that. So it doesn't always apply. Sometimes an onboarding email is like 1 or 2 emails, right? But it's really beneficial for people with a longer process. And then we have the post-purchase sequence. And then we have, again, a pulling back from my fashion days and from my product-based days is we would have like a cart abandoned-esque sequence. So what's really cool about, right? It was really cool about the technology of it all. Your systems, your email systems can tell you if somebody has clicked on a link, but hasn't followed through with the thing, right? Maybe they clicked on your sales page, but they didn't buy your service or buy your product. So you can have, much like when you go shopping anywhere else online, like those big retailers are in your inbox 20 minutes later if you have not checked out. Hey, saw you looking at this. Your cart's calling. We've got these items saved for you. Now, as business owners, we will take a slightly different approach, but you can have, I think the data shows that a 3 email sequence for cart abandon converts better than a 1 email sequence for cart abandon. So again, think about this as if they were in store. If they were in store, cart abandon would look like somebody looking at something and picking it up, but putting it back on the rack and then walking around some more. Oh, I can tell they're interested. I can tell they're curious. What would I go say to them? I would say like, hey, I saw you looking at this. I love this shirt so much. Did you know we had this in a few other colors? Is there a size I could help you find? Maybe they put it back because they liked the shirt, but they couldn't find their size. Well, I know I have more inventory in the background. So I could just go, what size are you looking for? Let me help you find that size. So you think through, like, what are some reasons why someone might have clicked? They were curious enough to click the link, but they didn't follow through. What's the second layer of information that you would want to say to them? And you put that into this cart abandon sequence.
This is so good. I mean, this is like a masterclass in email marketing. And what I just see is we just literally went through the whole customer journey.
Yes.
So a new lead comes in, you
Yep.
welcome them, they check out something, you follow up to see, they go ahead and show that they are interested or something. And then you're like, hey, you were checking this out. What's up? Do you want to try it? They now make the purchase and then it's like, let's onboard you. And then we finish working together and it's like, hey, can we work together some more? Like, just literally take them from new lead all the way to, like, it follows all the formulas, the attention, the attraction, the nurture, the convert. You know, if you're looking at the other one, I'm just thinking that all the funnels are running through my head and it's like, we literally just move them down all the way from, you know, attention rather, all the way to like retention, because it's like they're coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what's so good about these 5 funnels. And then every other thing can be a spin-off of whatever it is that we have said. Everybody needs to take note of these 5 because it's so good. I mean, I have personally done the onboarding one. And I just realized that it was just really helpful. So the course takes like, I used it for a course. It takes like 60 days from the data that we had that people used to finish it if they were serious, right? On average. And so we made the email sequence span 60 days, not every day, but over 60 days. And it'll be like reminder to maybe check out this model, this assignment. If you needed this template was here. And it encouraged people to, you know, it's like maybe you even forgot you had the course and it's like, oh, there's this one thing. This is where I can find it, you know, that kind of thing. And it just makes the process easier for the people because it's like, yeah, there's an email that tells me where this is. Let me check my inbox. I'll be able to find it faster. Or, oh, I didn't know that it was available. There's just so many ways you can use it. From client onboarding to student onboarding to even SaaS onboarding. You know, software onboarding. This is so good.
I have a friend who works, she's a marketing expert as well, and she works in the SaaS realm. And she was working with a new business and they were really struggling with that churn. So they had it was like a yearly subscription. She was like, people are not renewing at the end of the year and I don't know what to do. And I was like, okay, what's your email sequence for people throughout the year? How are you walking alongside them? This was not like her fault or anything because she, you know, got brought in to make the churn disappear. But it was like, well, what are you saying to people along the way? Because if they buy the course and then you don't remind them that you're there, they don't remember.
Yeah.
And so that's exactly what you're talking about. That's exactly what you're doing is, hey, you had this course. You said you wanted it for a reason. I said I was going to help you do this thing, but you have to do it in order for this to work. So here you go. Here, reminder. Right? That's exactly what you were doing, like all the snaps. Because that was perfection.
Yeah. Thank you. So now let's come into our post-purchase sequence. Are there different kinds of post-purchase or post-purchase is post-purchase? So are there differences maybe across industries or it's still the same concepts regardless?
I think big picture, it can be the same across industries. I mean, even if you think about a product versus a service, that can be very different. Are you selling something consumable? Are you selling something like food or skincare, right? Something that like people can run out of versus a service or, you know, a bag people don't really run out of. And so I would have to use a post-purchase sequence to make them want another bag or to buy a bag for a friend or something like that, right? Or a service, right? And so, but big picture, like, let's think about it. And you can probably even tell me, what do you want from people after you work with them? What are you hoping for?
So if it's like a service, it's like, oh, maybe we did a one-time project, can't get on a retainer. If it's like a course, maybe you took this small version, do you want to go to the next version? That kind of thing. So maybe you took like a one-time course, do you want to do the 12 weeks mentorship? That kind of thing. So an upsell,
Yep.
thereabouts.
Yeah. So we want repeat client, repeat business in some way, shape, or form, whether that's doing it again or moving to the next step. We want referrals. You had such a great time with this. Who else do you know that could use support around this same thing? Right? We want referrals and we want reviews.
A lot of reviews.
And I actually talked to someone recently who splits feedback and reviews into 2 separate emails, which I thought was brilliant. So you can have an email early on that asks for feedback. What did you think of this process? Is there anything you wish was different? Not the stuff that gets published on Google. And then you can have an email of, would you click here to leave me a review on Google, or however it is that you prefer to receive your reviews. But essentially, we want 3 things. We want people to refer us, review us, and rave about us to others. Right?
Yep. Yeah.
And then how that looks can vary greatly for each business depending on the type of service or product you provide, as well as like, it's in these like little details where I bring in the human design of it all, because no 2 email sequences should be the same. Like they should all be different to each business.
Okay, so you just mentioned something. You're like, this is how you bring in the human design aspect into it. So tell us a bit of that.
Yeah. So human design is the system that I use. It's a lot like personality assessment. However, I used to be really big into the Enneagram, but the Enneagram was like 120 questions to figure out what Enneagram number you are, what Enneagram type you are. Like I could get that wrong. They would say like, where are you on the scale of always to never? And I'm like, I don't know. It depends on the day. Depends on the moment. Right. And I love human design because it's based off of your birthday, your birth time, and your birth location. Like that's on my birth certificate. I can't mess that up. But there's so much in there about how you are wired and designed as a person, of how you're meant to show up. And so that's where we can get really specific, is looking at someone's human design to say what their energy, what their voice, what their, like how they talk to people. It's all different person to person, right? Like that's why as email marketers, we even have a job, because if the same email worked for everybody, what would we be here for?
True.
So that's how I'm able to use it of, like I'm motivated and I motivate others by really lighting something up in them, getting them really excited, wanting them to like go after it, right? Even talking in this conversation, I'm like lighting a fire in people about these email sequences, about the post-purchase sequence. Like, right? I have other clients, like I'm thinking of one in particular who's, when we worked on her post-purchase sequence, her motivation is more about fixing things that are broken. And she wants to be like, this is not working. And I know, and it's hurting you because this thing isn't working in your life. It is hurting you. But like, I know how to help you fix it so it doesn't hurt anymore. Like, would you let me do this with you? Do you feel the difference in the nuance of those 2 approaches?
Yeah.
So if I had written from this, let's get real fired up about this thing, we're so excited about it, for her emails, they would not work well. Because that's not how she shows up in the world. That's not how she's meant to show up in the world.
I totally get that. So now we're looking at the email sequence, the post-purchase. And my next question would be, what does it entail? What does it require to build a post-purchase sequence, irrespective of the outcome? So whether you want the raving, the reviews, the referrals, whichever one it is, like, what does it entail to be able to get that?
Like the tech of it all?
More like, so to do the post-purchase sequence, I need to have this, I need to have that, I need to have this. Are there things we need to have to go ahead and prepare for it? Or we just start writing?
So you think about, I'd walk yourself through it. So if somebody is out there is like, okay, I'm ready to write a post-purchase sequence. I want this. What do I do? I would say pick one thing to start with. Pick one service, probably your most frequent service. The product or service that you sell the most is the one I would start with. That's what I would start with. And then you want to ask yourself a couple of questions. One being, where do I want them to go next? But also,
Okay.
what would you say to people if you were in person with them and the conversation was over, or the project was over, the service was over? What would you keep saying to them if you could? I had such a great time with you. This was so amazing. Thank you so much for your trust in me. This, again, goes back to the human design of it all for me. But I always loved adding some sort of a quick win or another quick tip. You can think about it like the product-based businesses, right? If you buy some clothes, what is something you want to know after you buy those clothes? You probably want to know how to take care of it. You probably want to know how to wash it, right? What is it that your people would want to know or need to know to get even more out of the value of what they just did with you? I do one-on-one sessions with people, right? I have an hour-long one-on-one strategy session. And when those strategy sessions are over, here's a link to your video. Here's a PDF of the transcript. And here's what I recommend you do. I recommend that you watch it again. I recommend that you take some notes, right? I'm giving them a next step or giving them a way to get even more value out of the thing we've already done. So that then when I do come back and I ask for the review, I ask for the referral, I check in a couple of months or weeks or whatever for whatever the next step is. We have cemented the fact that this was a good thing. This was good. We liked this, right?
Yeah.
And the other
Definitely.
thing I would recommend people think about when they're post-purchase sequence is to think long term, right? So, there's the immediate email. The thing just ended. You're done. You want to send the immediate thank you so much email. You might wait a day or two and ask for a review. You might wait a week and ask for a referral. There's probably something in there that's hey, here's a next step. If we loved this so much, here's the next step for us. But what about checking in with them in 3 months? What about checking in with them in 6 months? Right? And so you could it's post-purchase is like postpartum. Your baby could be 50 years old and you're still postpartum.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Why I'm laughing is because I'm in obstetrics gynecology, and we'll usually say postpartum after delivery to 6 weeks. And after 6 weeks, we discharge you from the clinic. But I totally get where you're going with when you say, because regardless of if you've been discharged, this is after you've had the baby. And as long as the person is, you're going to always check in. Yeah.
Yes. Your post-purchase can work the same way. There's no limit to how long someone is post-purchase with you. Once a client, always a client. What would it look like if you had a 6-month check-in built in for that?
That's so solid. And that's a lot of thinking there. I don't think of post-purchase is immediate. But when you begin to think long term, there's so much you can do with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you have a post-purchase sequence you built recently, or maybe one of your favorite ones that you can just give us a rundown case study style of. More maybe how you planned it, how many emails, were there particular kinds of content you wanted to be sure were in it, and if there was anything you did differently.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm realizing I actually have a PDF of it. And so I don't even have to try to remember because I did this. So what we did was this, and this was the client I was talking about a little bit earlier, of who she's a coach for other business owners, business entrepreneurs, particularly trying to get out of the 9-to-5 hustle and really make their business a full-time endeavor for them. And so after she does her work with them, the first email that we prepped to send out was a yay. Can we just celebrate that we did it. I think the first email should always be a celebration of we did the thing. Like, let's just get really excited about that. So we did that. You can have a lot of fun in those emails of reminding people of the value they got out of working with you. We did this thing and we were able to go from this to that. We had such a great time. Right? And you can make these, if you look at it from one specific service at a time, you can cater it around that service. Yeah, sure, there might be like really micro nuances from customer to customer or client to client, but in general, you know what's happening for this particular service. So you can make it specific to that and still it will apply to everybody. And then the second email we had for her was asking for the testimonial or a review. And again, we used her human design to really integrate the best way for her to do that, because her human design tells her CTAs, her best CTAs, as well as her most ideal client and what they want from her. And so we were able to frame the request for her reviews in a way that really spoke to her people. Because if you ask somebody for a review, the reason why they don't do it are a couple of reasons. One, even if they wanted to, they don't know what to say. And two, like, what's in it for them? You know? And so we use her human design to be able to position this in a way that's like, the work that you did, the work that we did with you was so good. I know that there are other people out there who need that too. And your word helped them feel safe in saying yes to me. And now people are like, oh, I want to help pay it forward in this way. And so that was the second. And then I developed a couple of fill in the blank prompts to put in that email so that if people are like, I would love to, I don't know what to say. Great, just fill in this template. Before I worked with person, I felt this, fill in the blank. After I worked with them, I felt this, fill in the blank, right? The third email, we asked for referrals. And again, we got real specific and we just asked for, do you know one or two people who need this thing, right? So it wasn't like, hey, do you know anyone? It's like, I need two people. Do you have two names for me? Because all of a sudden now it's like two, I'm going through my brain. Two names. Oh yeah, I do know two names. Whereas if I'm like, do you know anybody? I'm like, I mean, I know a lot of anybody's. Right? We want to make it as easy as possible for people to do the thing you want them to do. And then our next email was talking about the next step together. So inviting people to consider working together again. What would this look like? How would this go? You can once again reflect on the progress you've made so far and how also, much like a puzzle, you saw one thing and now like three other things might open up. Okay, we got through that. But in the process, now you're realizing these other things. Well, guess what? I can meet you there too. And I can help you with those things too. So let's keep going because that was so great together. So let's just keep going.
That's nice.
And then we had, so your post-purchase sequence, any of your sequences can be as long or as short as they need to be. And I think that's what's important is one, don't box yourself into, it needs to be a 5 email sequence. If you can get things done in 5 emails and that's all you need to say, go for it. If you need more, go for it. If you need less, do that. And so I say that so that people aren't like, oh my gosh, I need to come up with 10 emails. No, I'm not saying that at all. This client and her audience and the work she does with people, these were the emails that best fit all of the above. So that's a side note. So then we had a couple of emails that helped them like make the most of it. So, and again, her ideal audience based off of her human design, I know that they like a lot of information. So that's another reason why there's going to be a few more emails. That's a reason why there's going to be more emails in this particular post-purchase sequence because her ideal audience likes information. So here's why it worked or a follow-up touch point, right? We do a couple of emails with that. Her ideal audience also is the type that really figure things out through trial and error. And so we also want to give them time. Her post-purchase sequence is longer because we know her people need time to play in the sandbox and to figure things out and to try things out themselves before they're ready to bring her back in. So we need to keep her top of mind, and we need to let her people know that it's totally okay that they are out in the wild trying these things for themselves. She's here to help them make the most of it as they are ready. And then the last email that we had in this was more of a like looking to the future. This is that like, oh, it's been a little bit since we've talked. How are you doing? How's it going? Do you want to tune up? We could have a refresher session. We could do this. We could do that. So those are the like 7 or 8 emails that we put together for her post-purchase sequence.
Wow. I like how intentional each email was and the specificity that you also attach to it. So what I'm curious is, how long did this like span out? So are we looking at like a 2 weeks or a 1 month, that kind of thing? So I'm interested in like how long they spanned out and the spacing intervals between like the emails.
For this particular sequence, we did the first couple. I think the first 2 or 3 went out within a week of the post service. The one immediately happened like within 24 hours of the project being complete. And then a couple days later, asking for the review. A couple of days later after that, asking for the referral. And then within like a week or so, asking for, hey, we could keep going. What would this look like? And then after that, I mean, I can tell you what I recommended to her was like a week or 10 days between things, because she had a couple of emails, like instead of just one email that was adding more value, she had 2. And then that last email, again, you could have a bigger gap. And so I think that last email went out at the 3-month mark.
This has been so good. And I just love how everything just came together, from the sequences to the process to like an example. And I feel like everybody is leaving home with something to do, because we're all going to go back, look at our post-purchase or post-service. And if you don't have one, I feel like Breanna has given you everything you need.
Yeah.
She's giving you everything you need to get one. So as we begin to wrap up, here's my question for you. What's one myth about email marketing that you like to bust?
There are so many, actually. I'm trying to think of the one. If I had to pick one, what would it be? I would probably go with the one email myth that I would like to bust is the fact that there is a rule book that works for everybody. Like I want to light it on fire, like with the biggest blowtorch I could possibly find, that there is any one size fits all email marketing rule book, because that is not real at all. I think every person could have their own version of a rule book of what works best for them. I'm here for that all day long. But like this corporate, this is what's working in email marketing, like I would like to burn that.
That might cause you to burn like maybe some state of the email marketing reports.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that. I'm here for that.
That's a nice one. I think the thing is, I try to put it this way. I like to tell people that the foundation of email marketing stays the same. So we all know that we are attracting people, we're growing our list, we're nurturing them, we want to convert and more things. But the way we go about it, I mean, that's why the name of this podcast is Email Marketing Experiments, because different people do things differently. And then sometimes just in trying something new, you get a different result. And it's like, oh, I didn't know that, And so it becomes something new, something different that may not necessarily follow like what has been said or done before. And so, yes, I can totally get this, because there are people out there who struggle because it's like, maybe they say, oh, your post-purchase has to be 3 emails. And they're like, what are the 3 best emails I need to put to be able to ensure I achieve this? But it could be longer.
Yes.
Also be less.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yep. I've started playing a game on my socials that I've named Burn, Bend, or Bible. And I'm going through various like email marketing rules or email marketing trends. And I'm like, are we burning it? Are we bending it to fit you? Or is this like this is Bible, this is true. Do this every time. Yeah, it's a fun game show. It's a fun game show for sure. But so far, I'm not coming across very many Bibles. That's for sure. We are bending and burning most of them.
I can imagine. I can imagine. Now, I want our listeners to be able to find you, connect with you, and, continue to get they do need to check out this ongoing show you have anyways. So where can we find you? Where can we connect with you? How can we find Breanna on socials, on the nets?
Well, definitely, please do come find me. Come say hi. Let me know that you heard me on this email marketing experiments podcast. I would love to say hi to you. My website is Owen, Owen, which is my last name. It's Owen, Your, Yourmark, owenyourmark.com. If you do /links, that's just one spot where I house all of my good stuff. I have a couple of really good freebies on there, one for sequences, one for email growth. I've got one coming specifically based off of your human design of it all, plus all of my other contacts of Instagram and LinkedIn and Reds and whatnot are there. But you can also find me on Instagram. That's probably where I hang out the most social wise, at Owen Your Mark. That's my handle on Instagram. So definitely, and that's where my Burn Bender Bible videos are. Yeah.
Okay.
You have all of these conversations and you talk to email marketers all the time. Like, what's your myth that you're like, I hate this one?
Funny enough, I've never really had to answer this question.
Oh, great.
Okay, so let's see. I think that there are a number of them. And this is the most basic one, but it's the fact that everybody says email marketing is hard. And I don't know if it's because I've had to coach people a lot and I've worked with business owners. I recently started like this small membership. We're doing like a beta testing. And when we did like the intake, a lot of people have things they would love to do with email marketing. They have things they have seen people is like, oh, this person did a 10,000 day, this person made this sales. And it's like, it can happen to every other person but them, because email marketing is hard. It's difficult. And I like to tell people that email marketing is as easy or as difficult as you make it seem. It's all perspective. And the truth of the matter is that when something is far from you, when it's like it's out there and you're here, it may look hard. But by the time you start to look into it, you realize that, oh, this thing is easier than I thought. And so that's one myth that's really dear to me that I want to burn, because a lot of people could be doing so much more, both offering email marketing as a service or using email marketing in their business. But because they think it's hard, they leave it. Like for business owners, it's like back burner. It's like, I'm going to work my socials, I'm going to do my website. And I'm like, all these things can work so much more better if you just plug in the email side of it. But it's like, it's hard. I have to deal with the tech. I have to do this. And I'm like, great. And then on the other side, it's like, it's like, oh, there's digital marketing. And it's like, social media seems so easy. Maybe because we all have social media accounts. But when it comes about email marketing, they have to think twice, because it's like, after writing, how do I understand the software? How do I do the strategy? There's so many questions, and so they're scared or they're not confident because they think it's hard. So for me, that's like one of the top ones.
Yeah. The way that I want to throat punch someone when they try to say that email marketing doesn't work for them. Oh, email marketing just doesn't work for me. No, the way you're currently going about it might not work for you. That I'm here for all day long. The way you're currently doing it might not work for you. But email, it's an $11 billion a year industry. $11 billion. What do you mean you can't have a slice of that pie? There's plenty of pie to go around. So I'm with you all day long on that particular one. Like I'm in that fight with you so hard.
Thank you. And I hope we can keep making it easier for even more people, just so they get to experience it. Like, I remember somebody in the membership and the person was like, oh, I can't remember, she launched a new freebie and then she got a number of subscribers. So by standards out there, you wouldn't even say it's plenty, but it was the excitement for the fact that it's like, oh, like I did it and it worked. Like people actually signed up. And I could feel the energy and I was like, that's it. Like, it's like the light bulb moment where it's like, I did this and I got this result. So that means there's something there.
Yep.
And it was just encouragement for her and every other person is like, this other person is doing this. So let me also do mine. And that kind of thing. And I live for moments like that, like just being able to get people to that point where it's like, I can do this. I'm actually doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good. So good.
Yeah. Go to her. Oh, yeah. That there's something that's been on my mind. I don't know if it was a play of words, but your website is Owen, your mark.
Mm-hmm.
But anytime I see and I feel like you might get this, anytime I see your handle or your stuff, what comes to my mind is own your mark.
Yes.
And it feels like such a powerful phrase. It's like, you need to own it. And I'm like, was this kind of intentional or did it just kind of happen?
Yeah. Well, when in my jewelry business, I had named my jewelry business Own Your Style, Owen Your Style. And so it was very much a play on my last name of Owen, but also because like own your style, like be you. Right. And so it was really fun for me when I was transitioning over to digital marketing and I was trying to figure out the name of my business. I really liked the Owen Your part. And then I loved Mark because one, it's own your mark. Like that's the thing that I'm here to help other business people do is own, like plant their flag in the ground. This is my space. This is where I'm taking up space. This is my thing. This is who I am. And I'm going to be the fullest version of me. I'm here for that all day long. Plus Mark is like short for marketing. So, there's also like that aspect of it too, of like, it's the mark of marketing. But yes, it is very much a play on words. I love a good punny play on words.
Yeah, I definitely love it. Thank you so much once again, guys. Like I was saying earlier, please go to the show notes so you don't even have to type it. All you need to do is just click it, check out all the stuff. She has such an amazing collection of things that you will definitely need. And don't forget to head over to Instagram and say hi again. Till next time, this is still Email Marketing Experiment, where we share behind the scenes of failed and successful email marketing campaigns. Simply put, what has worked and what didn't. And don't forget to like, share, and definitely give us your comments and feedback on the show. All those podcast players actually have like a comment section. We'd love to know what you thought about this and if you're actually starting your, post purchase, or maybe you have one and then based on this conversation, you want to revamp it. Thank you so much, Breanna. It has been a joy, an absolute one having you on the show. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.